I reached the eatery for my siblings' betrothal celebration, yet nobody was present. I rang him, and he answered, "Oh, the betrothal happened the day before. Seems you skipped it." So I pulled a $100,000 check for his fantasy high-end vehicle from my pocket and ripped it apart. When my sibling learned about it, my name is Blake. I'm 33, a dental specialist, the eldest child, the trustworthy one. The gag in my household is that I've possessed a firm grip since childhood. I repaired playthings, secured bolts, adhered fractured cups. At some point, repairing turned into my entire duty outline. Smiles, timetables, emergencies, my sibling. I'm the supporting figure, the one who arrives ahead of time, settles the tab just this time, and here's I'm exaggerating if I bring it up. My sibling Josh is the favored one. Effortless grin, grand plans, forever a tale that draws folks closer. Our folks claim he's got that flair. They gesture toward me and declare, "Blake's realistic." Realistic implies reliable. Reliable implies you get exploited. I operate in a modest clinic close to the waterway. Neat, luminous, 5 treatment areas. I appreciate structure. I appreciate diagrams. I appreciate that when a client mentions, it aches right there. I can perform an action that assists. Smiles don't deceive. Individuals do. That evening, I donned a dark blue coat and motored to Larkin Pine, the eatery Josh selected for his betrothal gathering. I stationed 2 blocks distant, since the nearer parking was occupied. It was chilly. I recall the noise of my footwear on the pavement, and how my exhale clouded when I chuckled at myself for feeling anxious. I wasn't even the one becoming betrothed. Within, the greeter examined her display. Name, Blake, gathering for Josh and Mia. She navigated. We reserved a secluded space the day prior. Nothing this evening. The day prior, I pressed my finger over the rim of my device. There's one this evening, betrothal gathering. She shook her head. My apologies. The space grew noisier. Dishes, goblets, utensils tinkling. I moved aside and dialed Josh. He picked up on the third tone. Tone cheerful. Blake. Hi, I'm at Larkin Pine. Where is everybody? The betrothal was the day before, he stated casually. Seems you skipped it. Quiet. I gazed at a stack of limes at the counter. You shifted it. We didn't shift a thing. We simply, it suited others better. You ought to have viewed the group message. I did view the group message. Must have skipped over it, he remarked. Anyhow, don't get upset. We'll arrange something with you afterward. The greeter regarded me with that gentle sympathy folks display when they notice a lone individual at a setup for 10. I nodded, terminated the conversation, and remained there while someone placed 2 sparkling wine glasses at a close table and chuckled excessively. Would you care for a spot at the counter? The greeter inquired softly. In fact, I replied, sensing my own tone dull. I believe I'm fine. I stepped outdoors into the chill. My palms felt absurdly vacant. I carried a greeting in my coat, and within the greeting, an item I pondered for weeks, and one extended midday at the financial institution organizing. I continued strolling. Josh and I matured in a compact residence with slim partitions and bolder views. If we both returned with top marks, my mother would declare, "Josh, you're genius," then pivot to me with, "Blake, you're steady." Father intended kindly, but his affection method was guidance you didn't request. He'd inform me, "Child, secure base first, then sparkle." Josh never secured base. He merely sparkled. Somehow that was acceptable. At 15, I labored weekends at a tool shop. Josh attempted football, strings, online videos, and connections, which was merely socializing with senior men who permitted him ale. I accumulated for university. He accumulated for a getaway in Miami. Dental work suited me. I enjoyed that accuracy led you someplace. I enjoyed that there were phases, supplies, results. I accepted debts. I accepted lectures. I accepted on-call duties for veteran dentists who desired their weekends returned. I purchased pre-owned manuals and a used hardening lamp to rehearse. If there's an image of me in training, it's me grasping a spinning tool in a tight mock lab, grinning like a soul who at last discovered the correct chamber. Meanwhile, Josh required a short-term lift, then another, and another. It began minor, $1.60 for an entry, $200 for a seminar he vowed would transform his existence. He'd declare, "I'll repay you Friday." Friday turned into next cycle. Next cycle turned into a regret with a smirk. I permitted it because that's what trustworthy siblings perform. You convince yourself you're aiding someone ascend. When I launched my clinic at 30, the opening ceremony was on a dull Tuesday. I messaged the location, the hour, a snapshot of the fresh plaque. Mother responded, "So proud of both my lads." Josh responded, "Can't escape something, postponement." Father didn't respond. I figured it would ache more than it did. Clients arrived. My assistant delivered treats. The owner delivered a shrub. I mended holes and authorized documents and contacted suppliers and settled bills and consumed excess caffeine. Security, it was mine. Then Josh encountered Mia. She's pleasant. Warm gaze, a stable position, a manner of positioning like she's accustomed to preparing for letdown. Josh became radiant once more. Getaway escapes, images by the shore, extended subtitles about constructing. He informed me he was suggesting. I replied, "Felicitations." He replied, "You reckon I should select Cartier?" I replied, "Acquire what you can manage." He chuckled like I was performing comedy. Funds began lingering like a buzzer. Location fees are wild. Mother groaned on the line. Mia's guardians can't contribute much. You know the situation. Father inserted, "Josh has drive. Drive requires backing. Backing meant me." The figures accumulated like adhesive memos. $1,200 to settle a card before it reached recovery. $3,400 because his vehicle required rubbers simultaneously, $500 because a lodging demanded settlement at arrival, and Josh assumed it was settled at departure. "I'll return it to you by the 10th, he'd declare. The 10th would elapse silently. I'd resend the figure and he'd respond with a love symbol. It appeared foolish beside my home loan. Then arrived the vehicle. Josh had an image of it on his device. A metallic premium version with the emblem he used to outline on periodical covers. "It's not even that costly," he stated. "I can manage the periodic. I just require the initial payment to secure the interest decent." "How much? 100. 100 what? 1,000. I gazed. He smirked like he was revealing an infant. "Josh," I stated firm, "that's not initial payment funds. That's purchaser residence funds." He dismissed. "Come on. Mia merits being transported to our union in something elegant. So lease an elegant vehicle for a day." He sighed dramatically. "You don't comprehend. This is about the impression." He really uttered that. The impression, that week. Mother rang thrice and messaged 11. "You know your sibling?" she stated. He visions large. Father rang once and stated. "Households commit in each other." When I didn't consent, he inserted. "Don't be petty about this." Petty. The terms rested in my stomach like an ingested token. I kept laboring. Caps, canal treatments. A split side tooth on an adolescent who fibbed about gnawing into a utensil. At night, I'd recline on my sofa and gaze at the roof ventilator and conduct the identical debate with myself. He's your sibling, but this isn't sensible. Be giving, but not unaware. Assist, but how much assist counts as your entire backbone? I reserved the eatery because I desired to perform one action that appeared like household on document. A gathering I settled for without anyone providing me a tally. I noted the date twice. I rang to verify. I selected the lower cost selection, so no one would jab about me flaunting. I also visited the financial institution. I produced a banker's check for $100,000, addressed to Josh. I placed it in a greeting card, not because the vehicle was logical, it wasn't, but because I was weary of the tally. I was weary of hearing myself labeled as realistic like it meant unmemorable. I convinced myself if I offered this, I'd erase the record. I'd never hear, "You never appear again." I remained in my cooking area grasping the greeting, thinking, this is madness. Then I tucked it into my coat pocket and convinced myself I'd resolve at the eatery. If he was appreciative, if the evening sensed like a household evening, I'd present it. If he was negligent, I'd retract it. I received the response at the greeter podium. The day before he'd stated, "Seems you skipped it." I didn't skip it. They altered it and didn't inform me because it was simpler that way. I motored residence without tunes. I extracted the greeting, grasped it, returned it. I didn't shred anything, not yet. I placed the coat on a seat and cleansed my palms longer than needed like I could rinse off a film. My device illuminated around midnight. A note from Mother. Wonderful evening the day prior. All adored the presentation. You should have witnessed your sibling's address. Then an image of Josh grasping a goblet. Head tilted back, joyful. No, we skipped you. No, where were you? Just a household occasion that didn't need my attendance. Only my funds. An hour later, Josh messaged. Can you dispatch that item we discussed by Friday? Seller says the offer expires. A blinking face. I placed the device face down and gazed at the roof again. Something altered, not noisy, not theatrical, just a snap. Like a portal in an ancient dwelling finally settling in its casing. 2 days later, Mother sent, visit Sunday. Will mark with just us. It read like a regret but sensed like arranging. I attended. I desired to check if there was any form of this where I didn't misplace myself. I donned the identical coat, the greeting still within. Not as a present anymore, but as an inquiry I could resolve with my own two palms. The residence aroma like baked fowl. Josh opened the entrance smirking. Here he is, the star of the moment. He uttered it like a quip. Mia embraced me gentle. We skipped you, she murmured. It was the only sincere line all week. At the board, Father lifted a goblet. To household, he stated, to Josh and Mia. He regarded me with that minor guardian alert hidden in his gaze. Behave, we dined. Josh narrated the tale of the suggestion. Mother chuckled at the segment where the jewel case wouldn't unlatch. Father added about site options. Then the discussion wandered, relaxed as a current, to figures. Josh. So the seller stated if I place down 100, they'll secure the interest at. Mother, Blake comprehends this material. Father, 100 is a clever play. It's asset. Mia gazed at her dish. I placed my utensil down. I'm not financing a vehicle. No shouting, no introduction, composed. Like identifying a fractured grinder. Josh flickered. What? I'm not settling for a vehicle. I'm not settling for initial fees. I'm not settling for fines because you altered the day and didn't inform me. Mother's grin stiffened. Darling, we're just exploring choices. Father reclined. Don't turn this hostile. I'm not, I stated. I'm turning it explicit. Josh chuckled once, sharp and frail. Dude, we discussed this. No, I stated. You informed me. There's a distinction. Mia contacted Josh's arm. Perhaps we. Josh brushed her away. Blake, quit being sanctimonious. You can manage it. He waved loosely at me. Secure. I am, I stated. And I labored for that. I bypassed trips and rested in duty rooms and performed weekend polishings for money clients and wrote checks when you said Friday. I'm not performing it anymore. Mother's tone lowered an octave, the one that signals moisture is preparing. After all we've performed for you. Like what? It astonished me that it emerged mild. Inform me what you've performed that grants you a hold on my tomorrow. Father's palm struck the board. Not forceful but sufficient. Mind your manner. I am minding it. Very precisely, Josh sighed dramatically. This is absurd. It's one check. I extended into my coat and extracted the greeting. I positioned it on the board. Mother really exhaled like ease was a soul entering the space. I composed this before the eatery, I stated. I carried it there to resolve. I resolved in the parking area. I unsealed the greeting, glided the banker's check midway out so all could view the zeros. Josh's expression shifted. He didn't appear appreciative. He appeared deserving. He appeared like someone noticing a parcel with his label on it that had been postponed by climate. Hand it, he stated, palm extended. Mia murmured, Josh. I shredded the check directly down the center. The noise was minor and vast simultaneously. I shredded it again and again, gradual enough that my own pulse could match. Blake, mother inhaled sharply. Father gazed, shocked. Josh's seat grated back. What is incorrect with you? I inhaled in and out, gradual. My palms didn't quiver. This isn't about retribution. This is about conclusion. He chuckled, but it fractured. Conclusion, you owe me. I regarded him the way I regard a client who claims sweets doesn't trigger rot. I don't owe you vehicles. I don't owe you initial fees. I don't owe you the form of me that settles to be welcome to events. Mother's tone quivered. Household assists. Household includes me, I stated. It hasn't for a lengthy time. Nobody uttered. Somewhere in the corridor, a timer snapped each moment like it desired to be tallied. I rose. Felicitations, I stated to Mia. I intend that. I pivoted to Josh. Best wishes. I pivoted to my folks. I'll connect when I'm prepared to be regarded like an individual, and I departed. My device began shaking before I reached the vehicle. I allowed it shake. I rested behind the controls, gazed at the guidance column, and allowed my torso ascend and descend until my palms were as firm as the day I grasped my first reflector and explorer. I motored residence with the tunes off. The following dawn, my device displayed 22 skipped rings, 37 notes, and 3 voice messages labeled critical. The household group message had its typical blend of remorse and explosions. Mother, we must converse. Father, your conduct was improper. Josh, you shamed me before Mia. Mia, can we please talk alone? I didn't reply immediately. Not to be theatrical, but to select. I attended the clinic, opened, switched illuminations, initiated sterilizers. I reviewed the agenda. 8 clients, a fractured grinder, 2 routine checks, 1 cap placement, 1 urgent inflammation, genuine issues with genuine phases. At 9 to 12, amid clients, Josh rang again. I entered the private space and picked up his opening words. You're insane. I'm laboring, I stated. You reckon shredding a check makes you virtuous. You reckon it instructs me immoral. You caused mother to weep. I didn't cause anyone to weep. I stated, individuals select what to sense. You're truly going to desert your soul sibling over a vehicle. I'm not deserting you, I stated. I'm exiting the position where I sponsor your appearance. He dismissed. You adored being the savior. Don't act you didn't. I adored assisting when it was logical. I regarded the timer. I have a client in 2 minutes. Dispatch another check, he stated. It's not that serious. I terminated. By midday, mother reached the clinic. No note, no warning. She entered directly through the entrance during a pause. Gaze shiny. Outerwear gripped like a guard. Blake, she stated. Too audible for the reception area. We're household. I glanced at my assistant, who provided me the minor. I can delay the next client gesture. I guided mother back to the discussion space. She didn't rest. You disgraced us. You held a betrothal gathering without me and informed me after I reached. I stated, that pained. We figured the other day suited all better. All is a tricky term, I stated. She stiffened. You have always been so exact. I'm a dental specialist, I stated. Exact is how folks retain their smiles. She breathed out. Your father says you're chastising Josh for being unique. I'm not chastising him. I'm refusing to fund his way of life. Her jaw elevated. We assisted you. We settled for. You didn't settle for training, I stated composedly. I accepted debts. I labored. You provided me a resting place and a power charge when I was young. That was raising. This, I waved between us, is pressure with courtesy. Her lips parted. Shut. You've altered. I've matured. She gazed at the ground. What am I to inform the household? That I cherish you. That I'll visit you when we can share a space, without someone offering me with a statement. I halted. And that I'm joyful for Josh and Mia, truly. But I'm not a dispenser. She compressed her lips together so firmly they paled. For a moment, I viewed beyond the theater to the weary lady beneath it. Then she donned the outerwear again like protection. This is unfortunate, she stated. You'll sorrow this. I sorrow other items, I stated. This I can endure with. She departed without farewelling my assistant. I returned to labor. The following week, minor items became emblems. I adjusted my device to silent after 8 p.m. I detached the household message. I jogged before labor every alternate day. Nothing valiant, just 20 minutes without anyone's clamor. I prepared real dinners instead of consuming grains standing over the basin. I mended a shaky rack in my passage and chuckled because of course I did. Josh attempted other approaches. Consider the appearance, he messaged. Consider Mia, he inserted later. Then, okay, overlook the vehicle. Can you at least handle the image taker? It's only 7K. When Quiet didn't flex me, he dispatched, wow, nice. Then you always figured you were superior to me. Then, I pardon you. Then, we're finished. I didn't reply to any of it. I dispatched Mia a sole note. I desire you success. My selection isn't about you. She responded with a love, and after a lengthy halt, I comprehend. Father waited 10 days before he rang. We conversed on a Thursday while I was stationed outside a vendor's storage. Child, he stated, this is excessive. It doesn't need to be, I stated. I nurtured you to be giving. You nurtured me to be accountable, I stated. Giving arrived for me. He was silent so long I thought the ring ended. I don't appreciate how you handled it. I don't appreciate being excluded from a key occasion and then offered a tab. You're distorting it, he stated, but less assured. I'm not. I'm finally uttering it directly. He cleared his throat. We need to locate a compromise. The compromise was 10 years prior, I stated. You informed me to secure base. I did, now I'm retaining what I secured. He breathed out. Your mother can't rest. She'll be fine, I stated. She's stronger than she believes. He didn't appreciate that. You sound unique. I am, I stated. I'm finished purchasing a position at my own household board. After we terminated, I rested there with the vehicle off and observed a loader shift stacks. The basic cadence soothed me. Elevate, turn, place. A method. I admired methods. On Sunday, I didn't attend meal. I received 3 images of all around the board, 2 vacant seats edited out. The subtitles were unclear sayings about pardon. I switched off the display and sorted clothing instead. There is something profoundly serene about piling neat garments when your mind used to whirl like a ventilator. 2 weeks later, Mia rang. I want to utter something, she stated. You don't need to reply. Okay. I switched off the display and sorted clothing instead. There is something profoundly serene about piling neat garments when your mind used to whirl like a ventilator. 2 weeks later, Mia rang. I want to utter something, she stated. You don't need to reply. Okay. I didn't learn about the eatery alteration until the day of, she stated. I informed them to inform you. I'm regretful they didn't. I also informed Josh the vehicle was an awful plan. Thank you, I stated. I'm not requesting you for anything, she inserted swiftly. I just needed you to know I'm not unaware. I value it, I stated. Genuinely, she paused. He's enraged about the check. I know, he said. She halted. It doesn't count. It does, I stated mildly. He said you utilized it to dominate him, she murmured. But he was relying on it to dominate you. I rested with that. That's very frank, I stated. I'm attempting to be unlike than what I matured with, she stated. I want to be just. I hope you both have a good existence, I stated. That's not mockery. I know, she stated. Farewell, Blake. After that, the rhythm of the notes decelerated. Folks learned I wasn't replying. Force doesn't like spaces with no rebound. Instead, other noises filled my days. The draw hiss, the supersonic cleaner's hum, the minor thank you when a client rises and realizes the ache is vanished. I added a shrub to the front counter. I swapped a blinking illuminator and arranged the getaway I'd been delaying for 3 years. 3 days by a pond, no group messages, no statements hidden as recollections. The final burst came from Josh, a capture of a note from father that read, "We have to remain firm." Beneath it, Josh wrote, "You're gone to me." He dispatched it like a hex. It arrived like a present. I placed the device down and prepared stew. 2 months later, I encountered my folks for brew in a neutral spot. A tiny shop with a slate list and a chime that rang when the entrance opened. I was ahead. They were delayed. That sensed known and somehow acceptable. Mother began with an exhale. Father began with a throat clear. I began with, "I'll keep this straightforward." Mother's gaze were reddened but not moist. Father appeared weary in a mortal way instead of an irritated way. "I cherish you," I stated. "I'm not exiting the household. I'm exiting the position you scripted for me." Mother's lips tensed. "We never." "You did," I stated, still composed. "Perhaps you didn't intend to script it, but it's the only role you ever offered me. I'm not performing it anymore." Father rubbed a finger over his brew top. "What does this resemble?" "It resembles limits," I stated. "No funds, no unexpected tabs. If I select to offer a present, it will be my selection. If you organize an occasion and you desire me there, you inform me the real date. If I decline something, that's the response." Mother gulped. "And your sibling?" "I desire him success," I stated. "I won't fund him." They were both silent. Outside, someone chuckled. A canine yelped. Mother uttered first minor. "We figured you didn't require anything," she stated. "You always managed items." "That's not a cause to manage me," I stated. Father nodded once like it ached. "We were proud of you," he stated. "We didn't utter it correctly." "You can begin now," I stated. And it wasn't an order. It was an open portal. He regarded me. "We are proud," he stated. It wasn't an oration. It was a line. We departed with no embrace because that sensed like a show. We departed with something superior, a sketch of fresh guidelines. Back at the clinic, I suspended a fresh image in the passage. Nothing major. Just my staff at midday meal, someone mid-chuckle, a streak of sauce on a tissue napkin. It appeared like folks who appeared for each other without a record. That evening, I prepared the remaining stew and observed the roof ventilator, and sensed that light, uncommon calm you get when you finally utter the truth aloud and allow it rest. The device shook once, and schedule alert for a client, not a request. I placed it face down and cleansed the container. I don't know what Josh will perform. Perhaps he'll resolve it, perhaps he won't. Mia dispatched one note on their union day, an image of her flowers and 2 terms. We did. I loved it and placed the device away. Here is what I do know. I don't owe anyone a premium vehicle, an impression, or a regret for not purchasing my way into spaces. I don't owe clarifications for being firm. I don't owe the position of mender anymore. I owe myself an existence where my yes implies yes and my no implies no. I owe myself the kind of serenity you sense when a client states, "It doesn't ache anymore," and you realize you finally uttered that to your own existence. I won't be theatrical about it. I won't perform extended addresses at festivities. I'll appear when dates are genuine. I'll carry a dessert I really desire to consume. I'll settle my own portion and nothing more unless I select to offer. I'm not interested in retribution. I'm interested in conclusion and limits, in being the soul who secures base, then sparkles. Not because someone informed me to, but because I resolved to. My name is Blake. I'm 33. I mend items for a profession. I'm finished allowing folks fracture me to provide themselves a tale. I'm constructing a calmer one of my own.